The door will open.
And Medic Ignatia will enter. Like the expression on her face.
Well, she will be greeted by a gold and bejeweled clockwork-seeming robot.
Okay, if you're observing that, then she like takes a step in and just stops and stares, and you can see that she mouths, "What the fuck?"
Greetings, Acolyte Ignota. Please state your reasons for being here.
She slightly tilts her head. I am here to meet Sir Noble Zhao Shenlong.
One moment, please. It will turn and gracefully walk into the back. And sooner or later, Zhao will show up, and she'll go on to do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, her expression on her...
It looks female, but it's just a simulacra.
Yeah, her expression on her face is like a mix between being confused and thrown off by seeing that fucking robot, and being like not comfortable. Like she... what I'm trying to say. Basically, she's here, and she doesn't necessarily like that, but not because she doesn't like you, but because the reason that she's here is like to her dislike. And perhaps she, like, because she was so thrown off, she even muttered, and maybe you even hear that she even muttered, "That's what I get for drawing the shortest straw." But upon seeing you, then, like, she bows or salutes or however you would like her to say, and like, "Sir, pardon for intrusion."
I take it you've never met a simulacra before?
I am afraid not.
Well, the mechanics make them. It's actually not terribly different from the construction of a cybermastiff or any of the other cyber creatures. She's only a valet. Well, she. Pretty thing, though, don't you think? Certainly cost a pretty penny.
When you throw a comment about pretty thing, I mean... Yeah, she just blurted out loud, but trying to sound respectfully. I am no one to judge one's preferences, sir.
They're expensive. That's most of the point of them. They also don't tire, so she can work all day without much. A little bit more reliable than a human, if somewhat less. What would be the word? Imaginative.
Yeah, she doesn't say that out loud, but that's exactly what she thought. Too bad Xantis is not there.
Yes, he would definitely be vastly amused by the situation.
Anyways, so yeah, yeah, I don't want to waste more of your time, sir. Perhaps slightly unusual matter that my comrades delegated me to ask you for.
Your comrades?
So she drew the short straw.
That's what she said already, like 1 or 2 times. That's what I get for drawing the shortest straw. That's exactly what she muttered.
Oh, Sorry, I didn't know it. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, no. And yeah, like long story short, she respectfully like presents this idea that started circulating around Platoon that perhaps some sort of insignia would be in place, like show whom they are and to whom they work, like some, yeah, basically insignia, some add to their identify their platoon and like that they work, and perhaps this cadre that you work with.
Oh, well, yes, of course. I certainly have quite a familiarity with heraldry. I mean, if the Inquisitor in question was familiar with arming, you might simply use that or some variation thereof. Each Inquisitor tends to have his own seal. Has he not developed one of his own?
Are we assuming... Actually, I'm just going to say he probably hasn't, in all honesty.
Well, generally, the Inquisitorial Rosette is based on some modification of the Inquisitorial's general seal, usually with some personal touch.
I take it back. He's been waiting on this for years. He probably does have the design for it in mind.
In any case, I don't imagine it to take too long before something's put forward.
So annoying.
Can't do anything about it, I'm afraid.
I know it's not your fault, kid.
Yeah, but yeah, she just, like, you understand clearly that because she asked, and then they assume that you are noble, so you probably know about artsy stuff, so it would be the best to ask about like making proper insignia.
Well, as far as that, if he hasn't actually employed a remembrancer or general artist, shouldn't be too difficult. Given his resources now, and my resources, of course. I'll bring it up with him next time I see him. Thank you.
Yeah, she will be grateful. But they only wanted like to ask you kindly if you will be willing to prepare something. At least that's what was her approach.
Oh.
And then, unless you will want to do something and ask her something more, then she will politely say her goodbyes and leave to do her thing.
Oh, is that all? Well, it was a lovely visit.
Make me a charm roll.
Me? Okay. For that?
Yeah.
Charming
Okay.
fuck, aren't you?
Yes, very much what I want to be.
So, yeah, like, she was...
Wait, is she considered an academic?
She was, like, going all business, but...
I would assume so.
Like...
Then add a 10 to that.
She thinks that these words are, like, somewhat flattering, so she offers a smile. Obviously still being respectful to a man of your position and stature. And yeah, she would allow herself to... Oh, yeah, she would definitely allow herself as she's leaving. The pleasure was all mine, sir. And then she leaves.
Somehow I think he's enjoying himself, even if he doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah, anyways, and... No. I mean, does Zhao react anything to that, or just, usual?
No, This
Okay,
isn't something new.
then
No matter what it is, it's not something new.
Let's quickly move to... There's the still thing about that Xantis told you trying to make Exalta not so zealot purity.
Well, I suppose she's had Forbidden Law, Heresy, and Demonology instruction, has she not?
She got that, yes.
Then it's high time she has Forbidden Law Xenos.
Yeah, you might at the very first thing, you might wanna make a very hard charm roll.
Throne Agent Zhao Shen Wong cordially invites you to a dinner where we will be discussing some of the new duties that she's going to be having, including expanding on things that she should know for her future position. Very hard being minus 30. I'll pull rank if I need to.
Wow, 76.
Hmm.
Wait, what was the base? 61.
You're gonna re-roll that, Charm Boy?
I suppose I could. I have loads. So minus.
And mostly the reason is like once she's zealot, and second you are kinda like mechanically if this works you will give her like another bonus, but technically we are like scamming
I spent
the
8 points.
training
I have
action.
4. I have 4 paid points, so I spent 1. Reroll.
Yes, you can. Yeah, so that counts for both her accepting and her being willing to listen and like for now accept your point of view and believing that yeah she should know more about Xenos to like for now that she thinks that to know how to fight them better or something along the line. One step at a time, one step at a time.
And why not? Let's spend 500 gelt.
Good God, on what?
Food, wine.
I love this man.
I've noted the 500 expenditure. Yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, the way she'll react is that she will be like especially she will like I feel flattered that about the receiving, but herself she will not indulge into like devouring of food or.
Oh no
wine.
no! This is more of a tasting menu. It's
So that works
less of
with
a
her. What works with her really nicely because she definitely keeps her senses and she doesn't commit sin of gluttony.
No, but yes, I mean, if she was she'll be full by the end of, since it's like maybe 12, 13, 14 courses, but most things are not more than 1 or 2 bites.
Yep.
So it's more like this is this, this is that.
Yeah. I.
Well, I mean, after all, what would be the form of address? What is her ranking as a cleric?
Ooh.
To be fair, not sure about her rank. I just.
What level is
initially,
she?
I made her as priest. I'm also not keeping track of that exactly, so.
They don't really have levels per se.
No, we don't. I mean, at this point, she kinda learned quite a lot. I mean, you can count the thing, like look at the things that she has and how much XP would that normally cost for player character, and would that put her on exemplar rank, for example.
Okay, so would you be considered a general cleric or a confessor.
Which is higher, confessor?
Yeah, the confessor would be about 6th level, more or less.
For now, I think she's close to confessor, but officially yet she's like general cleric.
Well, cleric Saltaire, I do believe you are the ranking member of the Ecclesiarchium, the ship, more or less. There are certain benefits to rank, as you can see. Besides, why not make, there's nothing wrong with mixing business and pleasure slightly? Certainly makes things go along a lot easier. And after all, this is just a matter of discussing. And there's so much to know about the Xenos and how you can best understand them, recognize them, and thereby guard the men under your care from their blandishments, their lures. One must know the enemy in order to combat it. Wouldn't you agree?
She nods. I agree. To know thy enemy, to better protect fellow men, and to better fulfill my duties.
Well, over the course of dinner, I will, in between talking about food, I will discuss xenology.
Okay, so even though like technically she fulfilled the limit for training actions, then yeah, you can add like that she gets Forbidden Lore Xenos plus. And she is slightly less zealous and Puritan. Slightly
well,
less, that's working.
I'm attempting also to try to be, I think it's probably still at a -30, but attempting to be as charming as I can about the whole issue. I'm going to spend a fate point to bump that up.
Well, yeah, but as I mentioned, like 3 rolls won't immediately switch her philosophy.
No.
180.
But I'm trying to plant the seed. After a while, yes, so I would go on about, well, the obvious one is the orcs. They're probably the most widespread. So I'd go on a little bit about their physiology, what passes for their culture, and the difficulties in fighting them. When you are fighting orcs, it's more a matter of inspiring the men, understanding that even allowing a few to live can blossom into much larger confrontations. So one must essentially pull the weed out by the roots as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it becomes much more and more difficult. There's of course, going on to, different others like the Rakghoul, or like doing some history, but like about the Ubath and the various other horrors that people have done. One moment I have a siren coming.
No worries, we understand.
I don't know. In that vein, then with this, impressing upon her the fact that absolutely none of this is to be shared at all, that this is all extraordinarily classified information. I would then continue to discuss with her about the tyrannies and the Necrons.
Soulless beasts.
Also the Tau and their ridiculous political arrangements. The stupid egalitarian nonsense. It's not even real. In any case, yes, and then will finally come somewhat to the Eldar. Oh, I should pause. Do you have any specific questions, perhaps?
For now, no, sir. I will ponder about information that I learned, and perhaps at the later time I will ask.
Well, on the Eldar specifically, the first thing one must learn about the Eldar is that they are a race of fragments, broken and scattered across the galaxy. Culture, geography, technology, the disparate elements of the Eldar race vary quite wildly, even within a single subrace. For example, the so-called kindreds of the craft worlds, the exodites, the little ones that are running around like savages in the woods, the Dark Eldar, and there's Harlequins. There's a great diversity of tradition and attitude. The stars themselves once lived and died at their command, not so much anymore. These aliens, you see, had the galaxy in their grasp and are now left to sift through the dust of their once fabulous realm. Annoyingly, they try to keep a lot of it from us, but for all their intellect and mysticism, they couldn't contain the beast within them nor tame the wild monsters of war. Now, nothing more than fitful little shadows clinging to the edge of existence, grip on the universe slipping, their holds becoming more precarious with each passing year. It's too easy, you see, for the Eldar to embrace the obscene virtues of chaos. Slanesh, I think you've recently become familiar with, yes?
She...
The prince.
Huh, give me a moment. Yeah, she doesn't give an outward reaction and just curtly nods and says yes.
Well, the Prince of Pleasure is nothing more than a manifestation of the Eldar mind in its most wild and unconstrained form. Human reality is absolutely meaningless to them, and the dark side of the Eldar mind is all alive with whims to be expended at the moment. Cruelty, generosity, just but impulses of any given instant. Beauty and sensuality are virtues that can be expressed in bloodshed just as easily as in song. To an unfettered Eldar mind, there's nothing of sanity or madness, merely a wave of perfect existence fulfilled by its own savage momentum. Which brings us to their understanding. It's simply, well, you can't at a certain stage. You just have to treat them. They're like a sword with no hilt. It's not really a safe way to grab them, but useful sometimes.
I think I understand what you are trying to convey, sir. I will meditate
after
upon
all,
those matters in a chapel.
After all, cleric, why are we here? You and I, the people on the ship, the Inquisitor. What is our mandate?
To serve God, Emperor of Mankind, Imperial of Men, Ecclesiarchy Inquisition, and to protect